Follow.
This is Raven coming at you with Uliana'S Mastery Set Dungeon. Now, this dungeon is a little aggravating because they have little monsters hiding in corners, just one of them. So you gotta check everything in all this dungeon because you can run through the whole dungeon and there'll be one monster all the way in the back somewhere hiding. So there's a certain way that you gotta run this. I have run it a couple different ways, but the way that I have found to run it is the best way that you can do this dungeon. But let me show you where this dungeon is at. Jump in here. You got to go to Act 5. You want to go into town. As soon as it lets me in here. Here we go. Just run all the way up here. Zaccharoom. Jump all the way back. It'll be right here in the corner. Let's take a look at it. Explode 15 enemies marked with exploding palm 4 times. You gotta group them up 4 times. Take no fire damage for the duration of the dungeon. We want to do the mastery and get both of them. Let's go back and look at this gear. Check out the cube. Now I have made a couple different builds. This build works really well for the dungeon. But for the cube, I got the flow. Increase the damage of 7-sided strike by 100% and reduce the cooldown of 7-sided strike by 60%. I have the crown for more cooldown. This build requires a lot of cooldown to get through this dungeon. Of course, the Ring of Royal Grandeur. Reduce the number of items needed. That way I can get into the set dungeon. I am wearing Captain Chrism's, the belt and the pants. You could use the boots if you wanted. I do have diamonds in for resistance. I do have a diamond in my helm for more cooldown. You want to put cooldown on all the gear that you can possibly get it on. And for the amulet, this is important. The star. Prevent all fire damage taken and heal yourself for 12% of the amount. Prevent it because there's a lot of fire damage in this dungeon. And for the gem, I got the molten. It's just for survival. After taking damage for 4 seconds, gain a absorb shield for 200% of your total life per second. And for the ring, I got the band, the chambers. Your spirit generators generate 50% more spirit. And then alteration gem, physical damage reduction. While below 50% life, your resistance to cold, fire, lightning, poison, arcade are increased by 75%. It's just for survivability. It helps in the dungeon. And then I do have the swiftness gem. The swiftness gem on. With every attack, increase your attack speed by 1% and dodge for whatever higher the gem that you have. The higher the level, of course, the better it is. The effects stack up 15 times, gain 1% cooldown reduction. That's the reason I got it on. And just for a little bit more speed. And like I said, you want cooldown on everything you can. And for the wrist, I got the gear. Exploding palms on death explosions apply exploding palm. You gotta have that. And then I do have Engoon on for a weapon. I do have a gem in that gives me 28,000 life per hit. The Aphesis, I think I pronounced that right. And then for my other weapon, the Fist. Exploding palm on death. Explosion damage is increased by 488. It depends on what you have. It'll go up to 500. But you can change this weapon if you want. You can put something else in. You could put this in and wear something else. It's totally up to you. It would work just fine. There's a few options. Dashing Strike reduces your damage taken by 50%. That would work just fine also. That's totally up to you, but that would work just fine. But let's take a look at some of these skills. 7-sided Strike. I have Sustain Attack, reduce the cooldown. More cooldown reduction. The Way of the 100 Fist. I got Blazing Fist. Empathy. I have Insight. Increase the bonus spirit regeneration to help me keep the spirit regeneration up. Exploding Palm. You want the burn on. And this is really important. Cyclone Strike. Implosion. This helps pull the enemies together where you can get the objective done in a dungeon. And Dashing Strike is really important to help you get through this dungeon. The Way of the Falling Star. Gain increased movement speed after using Dashing Strike. Let's look at the passive skills. I got Fleet-Footed, Exalted Soul, the Mystic, and then I got Beacon of the Year. Reduce all cooldown by 20%. And this, like I said, this dungeon is a little aggravating. The way you got to run it, because the monsters are spread out like crazy. But let's take a look at this map before we go in and do our mastery run. Let's take a look at this map. It's kind of aggravating. There's only a couple ways you can actually do this. What's aggravating or frustrating about it, you got one little monster that will hide in little corners. So the best way you can do this, you'll come in right here, go all the way around, and I have tried to come through this way. I've done it a couple different ways. I found the best way is come all the way in, come all the way down here, clear everything. You usually don't have much here. You might have one once in a while. Go and clear all this. And make sure you group them up into 15 the best that you can. Try to drag them together if you can. And come all the way through here. You got to check back here. Usually there's one. And come all the way back up straight and end up right here. And you will run out of time. This is a little frustrating because there's always one little monster hiding. But the main thing is to get the objective done. Explode 15 enemies marked with exploding palm 4 times. You just got to group them up and get through here as quick as possible. But it is a little frustrating, but you can get it done. But let's go on here and I'll show you my run, my mastery run. Okay, let's go in here and do our mastery run. Now this is a little frustrating because you do have little monsters hiding in corners everywhere. So you got to check everything.
Wait to use that ability.
And the main thing is to do your first objective, get the explode 15 enemies marked with exploding bomb 4 times.
That ability is not yet recharged.
You'll find that there's just one here and there. There's a little group. You got to get rid of them though.
Your strength fails. It is not ready yet.
All these doors. You got to get in here. You check all of these. You'll find that there's one here and there.
Fails.
But I found this is the best way to run this.
Wait to use that
I have done it a couple different ways. Here's a good group. I should get one out of this. Group them up real good. Push exploding palm. And use should get it.
The gods strike through me.
Oh, I seen that. We got one left. I'm glad I seen him.
That ability is not yet recharged.
Ran through the whole dungeon and had one monster left. Almost to the other side.
Your strength fails.
Just check everywhere. And with the amulet, you don't have to worry about fire. That was one, that was 16. There's another good group.
The storm breaks.
Another 16, I got one to go. And then I can start cleaning all the monsters up. That's not 16. Okay, all the way to the other side. There's one up way up here. Might be 15.
Break beneath the endless tide.
Yep.
It cannot be done.
Now all you got to do is clean all the monsters up. I have a minute, 38 seconds, counting down. It will be close.
What you ask is impossible.
Unless you get lucky and have more time. But this is definitely a good way to run through this set dungeon. It's the best way I found to get this done. I have tried a couple different ways. Check this up here. Yep, there's one way up here. Just one. I'd have ran through the whole set dungeon and had one monster left. Darn lag getting in the game.
This fight is over.
There it is. Boom. Mastery is done. All 4 of them for the monk. That's nice. All completed. All masteries. Let's take a look at this map again. That's where you come in over there. Just go all the way around. Make sure you clear everything. You check every corner. Because if you don't, there'll be one monster. You'll end up with one monster left. But I found this is the best way to run it. I have done it a couple of different ways, but this is definitely the best way. Well, let's get back to town.
Let me guide you.
Now for your dungeon, you want to stay between 300 to 400,000 damage. You don't want to go much higher than that because you will kill the monsters too quick because you do have to group them up. I got 342,000. If you got to knock down your damage, take off dexterity. I don't have nothing on dexterity. A lot on life. Knock down some crit. Make sure you keep your cooldown. Take off some attack speed. Whatever you need to do to get your damage in that area. And for your cooldown, I have a lot of cooldown. I got 73.78% because of Captain Chrisms and then all the cooldown I got everywhere else. But if you don't get that much or can't get that much, at least stay in the high 50s. 57% cooldown will work just perfect. That'll be just fine to get this dungeon done. But if this was helpful, give me a thumbs up. This is Raven. This is Raven out.